Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another Hex Update Saturday for December 28th, 2013. I'm Jake Freedom, and here's what's happened this week. Now, a lot of us, well, I should say me, I don't know about a lot of us, but I wasn't really expecting a patch to actually happen this week, given that it was Christmas and all the CZ employees, the developers, and everybody over there has family things to do. But they did surprise us with the patch yesterday, patch 819. And it was a fairly large patch. It consisted of a couple UI changes. It consisted of 10 or 12 different gameplay changes, and the biggest thing was that it consisted of about 10-11 new cards. And these cards here, most of them have Incantation, and it looks like a lot of people were waiting for Incantation to come out because it seems like a very popular mechanic. We'll get to those cards here in just a minute, but first let's go over some of the general things that they worked on in this patch here. And the first one, that being icons that players cannot access, now have a lock icon over them. For example, here, like the auction house here has a little lock icon over it. I can't remember what exactly this one was here, but icons we can't access, they just kind of put a lock over them just to kind of make it a little more polished and finished there. Also, tooltips are now back on the bug reporting icon and the globe. Basically, you mouse over the globe, you got the campaign coming soon. The bug icon over here says report bug. So those are back there as well. Also, some players will no longer see a bright yellow game screen. This seemed to be an issue after last patch, I believe. I actually had the issue myself. In order for me to correct it, it looked like that the resolution that I was playing in was reset to like 1024 by 768, and then when I tried to open up a new game, the whole game board was yellow and it was real high contrast. The game was unplayable basically. So for me to fix that, I just had to reset my resolution back to what I was playing, and that seemed to correct that problem. Now every time they did a patch, the resolution gets reset again. I'm not sure why it does that. I mean, I just recently patched for the new 819 here, and again my resolution was reset. So I'm not sure if that's something that they do on purpose, if it's deliberate, or if it's just an issue that they need to fix. I'm not really sure. Also, the AI decks have been updated, and they say here in the patch notes, good luck. So I'm hoping, obviously they're going to have, different cards in their decks. I'm just wondering if the intelligence of the AI has been updated, because all of us know that the AI kind of does some stupid things to itself. It'll cast a dingler onto itself, or it'll give a card life drain that's unable to attack that turn. So we'll see. We'll get into some AI gameplay and see if the AI is actually a little bit better there. Also, the tool tips are now back on the resource icons on the game screen. So basically, when you throw down a resource, you have the little, the mouse over them. It'll show you the tool tip there. Not a huge change, but it's back because, I don't know, 3 or 4 patches ago, the tool tips mysteriously disappeared. So, who knows there? All right. Some gameplay fixes here. Shards of Fate can no longer select another Shards of Fate, which is probably a good thing. Blessing the Fallen now works correctly. As many of you know, Blessing the Fallen is a card that will take all of your troops in your graveyard that have Inspire, and any cards that you lay down after the fact will be inspired by those cards in your graveyard. That's now working. A lot of people were complaining about that one not working because it seems like there's a lot of decks built around Blessing the Fallen. Also, Princess Victoria should no longer incorrectly have Life Drain. Tectonic Break now works correctly. Reversion will no longer cause some cards to get stuck in a state where it constantly recalculates its properties, which is good. That's probably become, with some syncing issues there, or just, basically unplayable. I'm not sure. I haven't really experienced that issue. I think I've only used Reversion a couple times. I didn't really notice that at all. So let's see. Damage is now correctly wiped off troops that are reverted. Good. Soul Armaments now correctly modifies troops. And then the Surreal, I cannot say this word for some reason, Cerulean, call him Cerulean, Grand Strategist, now shows the correct game text. Eldritch Dreamer now correctly shows that it can't be blocked. That was kind of a issue. I was a long time ago, I was playing against somebody and they had Eldritch Dreamer out there, and I'm like, what in the F? Why can't I not block this card? And he's like, oh, it's a game bug. I didn't look through the game bugs at that time there. There's so many of them. There were so many of them at that time that it was kind of tough to kind of keep up on all the game bugs that the cards, or all the card bugs that were out there though. So that one's been fixed. So that's good. Also, Prime Blood Orb of Brutality is no longer missing its threshold requirements, which is good because there was a big issue about people playing the Prime Blood Orb of Brutality there, and some people complaining about it. So good thing they got that fixed there. They're well on their way of kind of clearing all the issues up here. Okay, so on to some new cards. There's quite a few of them. There's actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 actual cards. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 token cards. So I got some screenshots of the token cards. We'll take a look at those after we look at the master card. So let's go ahead and first start out with a samurai. Oh, let's see, where's he at here? I might have to restart, I bet, unless I just spelled it wrong. There he is. Here he is. All right, Hop Hero Samurai. Card text states, for 1 resource cost, you can sacrifice another troop. Target troop gets -1 attack, -0 defense this turn. When a troop you control is sacrificed, add a Bushido counter to Hop Hero. Then if there are 3 or more, remove them all and transform into a Hop Hero Elite Samurai. So the Hop Hero Elite Samurai looks like this. Okay, Hop Hero Elite Samurai. Again, he can sacrifice a troop for one cost, and that troop there will get -1/-1 attack and defense. When a troop you control is sacrificed, add a Bushido counter to Hop Hero. Then if there are 3 or more, remove them all and transform him into a Hop Hero Samurai Warlord. So the final card is the Warlord card, and he is a 3/3 for 1 threshold, and for 1 resource cost, sacrifice another troop, destroy target troop. So pretty decent there. There's not a lot of it doesn't cost a lot. I mean, the main card is 1. You got to sacrifice at least 3 troops. So I think it'll take a bit to get there, but the end result being the warlord here, and you can destroy a target troop. It could be good there. So I think these will definitely come into play into the blood deck, or if you're running a kind of a Shin Hair combo deck with the wild and the blood. I think these will come in quite handy. I'm really liking those as well there. So, all right, the next card that's on the list here is Giant Caterpillar in the wild deck. Man, I'm having a tough time typing today. Giant Caterpillar, where is he at? Here he is. Okay, he's an insect troop, 1 cost, 1/1, 1 threshold. But if you have 3 wild threshold, you can transform this troop into a giant cocoon. What does the giant cocoon do? Let's take a look at him. Giant cocoon. Troop insect, he's purely defensive. He's an 0/4 for 1. Obviously you can't play these cards, so the resource cost is really kind of irrelevant. But at the start of your turn, you're going to add a metamorphosis counter to this troop. Then if it has 3 or more metamorphosis counters, it transforms into a giant butterfly. The giant butterfly is a 5/4 flyer. When this troop deals damage to an opposing champion, opposing troops get defensive until the beginning of your next turn. Decent cards here. I do like them. They're especially the end result here, 5/4 flyer, and to get to him, I think it'll be fairly easy. Granted, it's not, from the cocoon to the giant butterfly, it's going to take you some turns, but from the giant caterpillar to the cocoon will take nothing. I mean, it'll take turn 1 Halloween Brave, turn 2 Chlorophilia, and then if you have Giant Caterpillar, bam, you already have your Giant Cocoon. Hopefully by turn 5 possibly, you'll get this here. Like I said, at the start of your turn, so it has to be at the start of your turn. There's nothing you can do about it. You add those counters there. So maybe with a combo of, I don't know, what's the one where you can get take 2 turns in a row, maybe something like that. I think that's in the Sapphire deck. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of there, but I think the end result there being that 5/4 flyer is definitely going to be worth it there. So the next card here we got is Incantation of Ascendance. Let's take a look at that card there. Just pull up all the incantation cards. Okay, I think it's which one is it here? Incantation of Ascendance. Sapphire. 4 costs, 1 threshold. It's a constant. When you draw a card, add an incantation counter to this constant. Then if there are 5 or more incantation counters on this constant, transform it into a lightning Armada. How do you want to call it? Armada. I'm going to call him a lightning Armada. What does a lightning Armada look like? Lightning Armada. It's a troop manifestation. It's a 4 cost 2/2 flyer. This troop has +2/+2 for each card in your hand. I don't know. By the time you get this guy out, do you save cards in your deck? Do you build a deck around having cards in your hand, so you have to build some draw into the deck, to get this guy out? Because when he comes out, he's going to be, let's just say you have 6 cards in your hand. That's going to be, it's going to be a 14/14 flyer, possibly on turn, what is it? See, there'd be 5 or more, possibly on turn 6. When you draw a card, okay, so when you draw a card, so basically, it sounds like in order to get this one to go here, you're definitely going to have to build in some card draw mechanics, because every time you draw a card, it's going to add the counter to the constant. So, it'll be interesting. I think it'll work. I really do. I don't know if he'll come out super strong, because you have to draw cards. He could possibly come out fairly early. I could probably see, maybe turn 4 or 5, depending on how things roll out and how the draws go for you. Maybe you turn 4 or 5, maybe a little bit later. But the trick is to have those cards in your hand, get him out with possibly 7 cards in your hand, and if you did that, he'd come out as a 16/16 flyer. That's pretty powerful though, and that'd be kind of tough to deal with, I think. Okay. So the next one here is Incantation of Fear, and that is a blood card. And this one here is when a card enters an opposing graveyard from anywhere, add an incantation counter to this constant. Then if there are 5 or more, transform it and all other incantations of fear you own in all zones into maddening nightmares. The Sapphire card, I believe, is it the Sapphire one? Yeah, the Incantation of Ascendance is the only one that doesn't transform all the other ones in all of the zones. It seems like all the other ones do, though. So let's take a look at the Maddening Nightmare. Maddening Nightmare, again, is a troop manifestation. And at the start of your turn, reveal the top card of each opposing champion's deck. You may bury each of those cards. He's a 6/4 troop. And I think he's powerful. And it's not, I don't know if it'll take a whole lot to get there or not. Because if you're playing a blood deck and, if it's a control blood deck, you have extinctions and murders going on, it'll take no time at all to get the counters on here by throwing cards into the graveyard. Do you play it around, only sacrificing your opponent's troops? Do you play it around maybe sacrificing some of your troops? If you play this in conjunction with the samurai we just looked at, where you're sacrificing your own troops, it could be quite a combo there. So we'll see how that plays out as time goes on. The next one, Incantation of Fury. I believe that's the Ruby. And this is another constant. When an opposing champion is dealt damage, Add a counter to this constant. Then if there are 5 or more, transform it and all others you own in all zones into Inferno Elementals. And the Inferno Elemental is a 6/3 with speed. Now, I think that's I don't like this one at all. A 6/3 with speed. Granted, you have the speed, but 3 on his toughness. I think he's too easy to deal with. If this was maybe a 5/4 or something along those lines, I think it'd be a little bit better. But 3, just by the time you get him out, 3 is going to be too easy to deal with. If you were able to get this guy out on turn 2, 3 is kind of difficult to deal with maybe on turn 2. But by the time you get him out, I think he's just going to be too easy to deal with. And I don't know, if we're going to see a lot of him being played. But that's my thoughts on that card there. I just think, his toughness is a little too low for my likings. All right, next one is Incantation of Righteousness. This is the diamond version of the incantation cards here. And his is when you gain health. There you go, right there, when you gain health. So this will be geared right around health gain decks. Add a counter to this constant. Then if there are 5 or more, transform it and all others in all zones into Sentinels of Light. Excuse me. Sentinels of Light are this. He is a troop with life drain, a 4/4 troop. While you have 20 or more health, other troops you control get +2/+2. This is going to be huge for health gain decks, and I can already see where it's going to come into play, especially if you're playing a deck built around any of the health gain decks. This is actually going to work. So, the chances of you having less than 20 health, it's slim, but it happens, because a lot of the health gain decks, a lot of the cards have life drain, so you're always going to be gaining life, So I think this will be a huge player in those life gain decks there, and it should be interesting. It's going to be tough to deal with. All right, next one we have here is Incantation of Savagery, and that one is, where's he at? He's the wild version here. Okay, again, constant. When a troop enters play under your control, add a counter to this constant. Then if there are 5 or more, transform it and all others, again, all others in all zones, into feral beasts. Feral beast looks like this. He is a weird antlered cheetah spine back thing. I don't know. He's a mean looking guy, but 6/6 with spell shield. Okay. Pretty decent. I like him. I think he'll be useful, especially because it transforms all the other ones you have. So why is it that only the Sapphire one doesn't transform all the other ones? Nobody knows. I don't know about that. So the Sapphire one I kind of have an issue with, and the Ruby one where you get out that Inferno Elemental with the 6/3 with speed. Those are my feelings on those cards there. I think that the Righteousness one is going to be huge. The Incantation of Fear is going to be huge, and so it'll be interesting to see how they work out there. All right, next card we're going to look at here is the Kraken, and the Kraken. Take a look at him. He is an 8 cost, 3 Sapphire threshold troop that is 0/0 off the bat. But as this troop enters play, create 8 Kraken's tentacles and put them into play. When this troop leaves play, void all Kraken's tentacles you control. This troop has +1/+1 for each Kraken tentacle you control. So basically, you get an 8/8 for 8 costs, 3 threshold, and then you get 8 other 1/1s. And those look like this. Okay. So these are the tentacles. They're 1/1s, and they have the ability to exhaust a target troop. Talk about control here. So you can obviously take your 8 cards. You can exhaust the cards on the other side of the board so they can't block you. Keep a couple of them up and just continue pounding away with this guy here. So that's going to be huge. I like him. I like him a lot. He is spendy, so you're going to have to maintain maintain until you can get him out here. You know, obviously do something to pump up the tentacles, because, you know, 1/1, if you want to attack with them, is going to do a whole lot. Granted, they can exhaust, but, you know, if you can do something around, maybe, you know, giving them a buff of, maybe give them a buff to some health, maybe a buff to some attack, you know, come on. You know, I don't know what you can do there. Command tower, I don't know. But if you can buff those guys, I think you're going to be, it's going to be a great end game card there. So the next one is the Mentalist. I'm going to try to say the word again. Let's see, where is he at here? Here we go. Cerulean Mentalist. Troop, human mage. 3 cost, 2/3. It's an inspiration card. As another troop with cost equal to or greater than this troop's cost enter play under your control, it gets permanent. When this troop deals damage to an opposing champion, draw a card. There could be the card draw that we're looking for with the Incantation of Ascendance. I think that was right, wasn't it? Take a look here. I always got done saying it. Incantation of Ascendance. Yes, when you draw a card. So there you go. That could be your combo there to get that guy going with the inspiration card there of the Mentalist. So that could, you know, it's one way to do it, I guess. You know, see how it actually works here. And the next one here is Ritualist. Ritualist of the Spring Litter. This is a wild shin-hair conky bunny. 1 cost, 1/1, 1 threshold. If one of your cards or effects would create 1 or more shin hair, create that many +1. So if you have something that's creating 3 shin hair, you're going to be creating 4 shin hair with this guy, if you have him out here. Or I believe that's how I read it, right? If one of your cards or effects would create 1 or more shin hairs, create that many +1 instead. So definitely going to be a powerful card for a shin hair deck. Those shin hair decks are quick, they're fast, they ramp up so quick, and this is definitely going to help them out there immensely. So other than that, that's the new cards for this patch here. They are very exciting. I can't wait to start trying some of them out there. Couple things that they have already found for known issues. They're going to be performing a holiday tournament stress test. They just say, please report your bugs you discover. And some of the new cards, again, they don't always appear for some users. Basically, all you got to do is just go ahead and you patch, load the game, close the game, open the game back up, and the cards will then appear. So other than that, that's going to be the update for this week here. If you liked the video, go ahead and click like. If you want to see more, click subscribe, and I'll have another video for you soon.